Welcome back to my YouTube channel BBC World News. I hope you'll be fine. This time we talk about suspected drug kingpin caught after audacious escape from house arrest. An initial stamped escape by one of the world's most wanted fugitives has been brought to an abrupt end with the drug kingpin now facing charges in the US. In a late night communique on Thursday, the Cuban government said that it had been extracted a Chinese citizen, Zahi Dongzhang, to the authorities in Mexico. House later Mexico security chief then confirmed his subsequent extradition to the US on drug trafficking and money laundering charges known by the various allies, including Brother Wang, Pancho, and Hehe Zedong is accused by the US Justice Department of masterminding a vast international ring of the fentanyl trafficking and money laundering covering numerous nations, but particularly China, Mexico, and the US. The list of the charges against Mr. Zhang is long, but in essence, US persecution and the Mexican Attorney General office accuse him of being a major player in the global drug trade. They say he has laundered millions of dollars in drug money for both the Sinaloa cartel and the New Generation Jalisco cartel as part of the worldwide drug distribution network. Brother Wang can be seen as the key link between Mexican cartel and Chinese chemical company in securing and sourcing the precursor chemical and the fentanyl. Former DEA agent Mikey Viga said, adding that he was also vital in converting drug funds into the cyber and the cryptocurrency. It convicted Mr. Jahan can expect to share a similar fate as other drug kidnapping and the kingpin like the Joaquim El Chapo and the husband and Ismail Almayo Zambada in a high security facility in the United States. But how Brother Wang ended up in custody in Havana is an extraordinary tale involving fleeing house and arrest in Mexico City reportedly through a hole in the wall, taking a private jet to Cuba and an ultimately failed attempt to other Russia. Mr. Zhang was arrested in Mexico City in a joint security operation in October 2024. He was initially held in a Mexican security prison, but he was later granted house arrest by a judge, a decision that the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum called the outrageous. Mr. Zhang's escape had all the hallmarks of another embarrassing episode for the Mexico, a man considered a vital cog in the machinery of drug smuggling, able to disappear from under the noses of Mexican authority, tasked with the guarding El and the El Chapo, whose Zam managed that fear too and twice, much to Washington to frustration, before he was finally put on plane in the handcuff to the US. And that Mexican authorities were able to recover the prisoner and send him north came down to the two things: an apparent stroke of luck in Russia and the strength of Mexico's security relationship with the Havana. When Mr. Zhang reached Cuba in July 2025, he set about making his next step towards reaching a country with no extradition treaty with the US. Officials say there is a direct medical flight to Moscow from Havana, and Mr. Zhang, they allege, was able to secure a seat on it using fake paper. However, the paper did not get him past the immigration authority in Russia. It has been reported that the Russians did not fully appreciate who they had in their custody, and after he was briefly detained, they turned Mr. Zhang around. They sent back him to the Cuba. On arriving back in Havana second time, the Cuban security services were now aware of his real identity. Security analysts believe the authorities in Cuba held him for several months to interrogate him in length before sending him back to Mexico and inevitably onward to the US. Mexico Public Security Secretary Umar Harfouch, who is quick to thank Cuba for its cooperation, ultimately for accepting Mexican brushing over other escaped high-profile prisoner. As always, following the arrest of an illegal kid and the kingpin, the question becomes how far their removal will affect the global drug trade. And given Mr. Zhang has spent the past year either in prison or under house arrest on the run, the question may be moved. Mr. Vigil said, and his absence has already largely been felt in Mexico criminal underworld. It's really not going to have an impact as the cartel already have the individual working for them who can start to replace Brother Wang, said Mr. Vigil. Even in the case of Al Chapo husband, who was much bigger figure, it had no impact on the global drug trade. He argued over his first year in office. US President Donald Trump has pressured his Mexican counterpart of to do more on the issue of fentanyl trafficking, and the Shimbam administration has duly responded in kind. She has significantly increased seizures of the drug compared to her predecessor, and her administration has sent dozens of convicted drug cartel members to the US to serve the sentence in there. They included several high-level drug names like the Rafael Caro, Quantro, wanted from the murder of the DEA agent in 1985. Her cooperation on the fentanyl issue as well as the undocumented immigration is considered the reason Trump has refrained from imposing the same level of trade tariff on Mexico as he has on other commercial partner. Mr. Zhang's extradition will be genuine and the satisfaction in Washington at having Tena figure in Mexican cartel of financial operation of the circulation that in turn will please the Sheinbaum administration in Mexico and strengthen their claim to be in the lockstep and with their US counterpart on the security, however, and slowing or reducing in the movement of precursor chemical for fentanyl from the China to the America in any lasting way and will take more than the extradition of one man. Get to the close of entertainment. Subscribe today for new videos every day. Thanks for watching. For more, have a nice time. Goodbye.